Alrighty, just got done with HP 170. Very interesting.
Oh, you like it?
Yes, I do.
All right, cool.
Mr. Burrell is very interested in it.
You're
It's
going
very,
to let me
very
talk about it
deliberate.
for about 10 to 20 minutes.
Yes, Mr.
Okay.
Burrell, we were mentioning when we were talking to each other in the bleachers here that might happen.
I've got a cushion with me today, just so it's this is gonna be a good sit. It's good long. I'm ready. I'm ready for it. Oh, and I've got a blunt, but it's like a smokeless
Yes.
blunt, so it's like it won't fill up the. It's okay. This one's like fine. This one's okay.
Oh, Mark's got his one as well.
Yeah, there we go. This was like the non-destructive blunt. It doesn't get in your way. It doesn't like smoke up in your face or anything.
When the speaker enters the chamber, you rise.
Good evening, everyone. Remain standing for the blessing. Bow your heads in prayer.
Blessed be the blondes, the just, and those willing to be both blonde and just. Blessed be those who provide for the hungry, fill the pockets of the poor, and those who commit to what they say they wish to commit to. Blessed be the kind, those who embody the soft laps of waters on shores, those who recognize that might is a weakness if it is all your sea holds. I spoke to someone yesterday. They said they drew power from me as if I was a god to worship. Blessed be those who understand that power is drawn from the people, all power worth protecting, and there are no gods but the gods, and no titans but our titans. Blessed be those who recognize that forgiveness is earned, mercy is given. To ask for forgiveness before the act is of earning is to act for mercy. May the tides provide for all those who ask of its shores. May each fish, each ship, each plant soul be a reminder that the blessings of Lascare are brought by working for what you desire. Blessed be those who receive the charity of the church, of Kara as whole. May that which they receive allow them to make a life for themselves, so that they may provide for those who step onto our shores themselves one day. Blessed be my friends in the mountain, the dwarves and their kin in Stendal. May the events of the past show their strength in the present, for they are the mountain. More importantly, they are the people whom helped make Kara what it is today. Blessed be Sennaquis, the guardian of Kara, and all those who work to make Kara a home worth calling a home. May her strength never falter, may her enemies learn their wrongdoing, and may innocent blood never be spilled. For we are the shipbuilders, the trident crafters, the garden growers, the storytellers, the bringers of justice and victory. We are the potion brewers and protectors of family, bathed in the light of the moon on the coast we call home. We are Kara. On the shores of Sennaquis I pray, for she is the first mother, the Lord Mother, and our ambitions are made manifest with her tides to guide. Skull and amen.
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 Oh, amen.
Amen.
Thank you. A very poignant blessing. Wonderful. We'll start with opening statements. Are there any motions to the House? All right, that works out pretty well. We have a very busy docket today.
I motion to suspend House rules regarding vulgar language.
Do I have a second?
Seconded.
All right, seconded. Thank you. Oh, I'm so sorry. Why don't we have the clerk take roll first?
Of course. When I say your name, please say aye if you are in attendance. The honorable member from Stone Bay Goldenrod.
Aye.
The honorable member from Stone Bay Bridgeway.
Aye.
The honorable member from Stone Bay Norbrook.
Aye.
The Right Honorable Prime Minister.
Aye.
The honorable member from Orlon Southwest.
Aye.
The honorable member from Falana East.
Aye.
The honorable member from Seralia West.
Aye.
All members of Parliament are at attendance and we meet quorum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Let's return back to that motion. All those in favor to the motion to suspend vulgar language, can I have an aye?
Aye.
Aye.
And all those opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Goodness. Well, the motion passes regardless. We'll start out with Mr. White Claw, as I believe must be legally referred to in the House. For HB 170, the Self-Defense Act. Mr. White Claw, if you could give a little speech, and we'll get right upon our way. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Speaker. Absolutely, I will go ahead and begin with this. For all those that have seen this, we have been talking about this for quite some time within judiciary committees, within, hushed tones in corners. Advocates Claw is writing a self-defense act. But when I first arrived here, I was looking through very many different things, going through various bills. I read the Stone Bay Code about every day, trying to at least. And I noticed that there were no protections that protected anyone in the regards of if someone was trying to defend themselves. I have looked through this comprehensively. I have created different versions of this before I submitted this, before this came in. This was the 16th draft of this bill that I've put together. Its original version had things related to magic. Its original version had things going on precedent and various things like that. But this is the most comprehensive version that I believe that I could have created to be presented here in Parliament on this day. Within it, it talks about the reasons for why this needs to exist and various other things that relate to self-defense and the concept of castling and various other parts of this. So I hope that in this public conversation regarding it, that we can look at this and realize that this is something that might actually be needed. I have talked to many different people, many different fields. This is something I may have put onto paper, but this was written in turn through the reactions of all of the people I have talked to. And I hope we can get this out here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Whiteclaw. Stand to be recognized. Pardon. Lutine.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have a question regarding how is it to be expected of people to prove self-defense if there is, for example, no witnesses? Does there need to be a solid, specific proof, or is it just a word-to-word kind of deal?
And for a response?
Frankly, any case that goes into the gold courts, that goes into our courts in general, that goes into the court of law, if there are no witnesses, that always becomes a he said, she said scenario. I don't think that we should be looking at a situation where we negate a bill that can protect so many individuals for the concept of one what if scenario.
Thank you. Further questions? Ms. Lutine.
Thank you. Within Chapter 4, Section 1, Subsection B, it says that self-defense is only valid within cases of processes being first attack, harm, or attempted to be harmed. My question regarding this is, what if, for example, this first attack was a misunderstanding? For example, somebody accidentally used their muscle. So with that would become an accident. Would then this self-defense still be in place, or would there be different rules regarding these?
And Mr. Whiteclaw.
Thank you. Regarding anything that goes into these standards, right, when we look at them, one, these are the kind of things that have to be reported. And in the scenario that you have given me, right, this is a scenario where someone smacks someone once with their muscle, and then the other person defends themselves for being smacked entirely. It is within good reason that the individuals within that scenario would make it very clear it was an accident, and they'd back off, and it's something that would be settled. If that had to be raised, brought to a court of law, where obviously, no, it wasn't an accident, this was something done out of malicious intent, that's when these laws would come into play. But in its perpetuity, frankly, these are the kind of cases that are going to have to be handled. Not having something like this, frankly, allows those cases to be swept under the rug.
The chaplain.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Regarding Chapter 5, Section 1, Investigative Procedure, Subsection C, the word expected is used. It is still expected that if you have to defend yourself, that you report to the constabulary and allow yourself to be represented and protected in the court of law. Is this an expectation that is legally binding? If so, I would ask the presenter of the bill to ensure that it is not expected, it is required. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Mhm.
For a response?
I actually agree with the chaplain present in the chamber today. I would like to make a motion to change the word expected into required.
Seconded.
Seconded by our Prime Minister. All those in favor, aye.
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 Aye. All those opposed? The bill or the amendment has passed unanimously, and for that I'm very thankful, because I'm glad there didn't need to be discussion. I forgot about that part. Let's get that amendment added, please. Any further questions? Yes, the Prime Minister.
I've noticed within this bill, in a previous draft, you had duty to retreat stated, which I believe would help in the situation of the honorable member mentioned regarding an accidental punch. Seeing as who is being attacked would have duty to retreat, is that no longer a part of this bill, or do you intend to bring it up in a different scenario?
Mr. Whiteclock, just do go ahead.
I love this question, right? When I was first drafting this bill, I had created a hybrid system using both the duty to retreat and the idea behind castling, the defense that comes from those perspectives. When I talked to a majority of different individuals, they believed that this hybrid system in play is actually impossible to really follow, because it's hard to expect the general public that is going through these relative motions, these actions, that can create so many. What are the words I'm looking for? That creates so many high pressure environment situations to act on a rational field. When we write these bills, we write bills constantly on the idea behind rational thinking, but this is a bill based off of the concept of what exists when one cannot be put into a situation of direct rationality. I believe that in this current process, the bill that we have right now is a good start. This is a bill that could be worked on, more things could be added, but this bill is a standard that we are setting. And so if we go through very many different situations and realize that a duty to retreat is better than a castling scenario, then that is something that we should look at in our future. But I do believe that at the current moment, that we are more benefited as a people of having a castling and trespassing laws than a duty to retreat.
Thank you, Mr. Whiteclaw. Further discussion? The collector, sorry, Hari.
I have a question for the So the the bill mentions there will be proper procedures that the constabulary, royal guard, and detectives will follow. What are the procedures that were considered for the bill?
To respond, Mr. Whiteclaw.
Hmm. Frankly, the procedures are still the same as they are now. They go through, they talk to the individuals in question, go through, determine what charges lay, what charges can exist, and then when they are brought to the courts, all of the evidence that has been collected is then presented by lawyers to the judge that can then come up with such a thing. But the procedures are the exact same as they always have been. Look for information, delegate information to make sure it gets into the proper channels. Thank you for the question.
Any further remarks? Nothing on this quite historic and monumental bill? Anyone who supports it, perhaps, to speak up in support? Thank you, Prime Minister.
I actually have another question for the bill. Seeing
Certainly.
as the constabulary is brought up so much within this process, one, I wanted to address the fact that detectives are being addressed, though the detectives are soon to become constables. Are you under the impression that this bill will be released with the detective to be further amended in the future to exclude that title, or keeping it just in case? I'll allow you to answer that first.
Yes, Mr. Whiteclaw.
Thank you very much, thank you very much, Mrs. Speaker, and thank you so much for the question. I am of the belief, frankly, that we don't have a direct time signature of when those changes are going to happen, and so if this bill passes, need to make sure that it is covered in the process, that it is still completely legal before going through that, and after that, I would actually, once that goes in place, I personally will meet with whoever the next parliamentarians are and let that be known so that that can be amended and fixed as prior. But in its current iteration, I'm writing under the systems that we are currently in play in.
The Prime Minister.
The second question is, seeing as the constabulary is being affected so much by this bill in terms of laws being changed that they will then have to adjust to, have you spoken with members of the constabulary or the inspector about the contents of this bill, and what were their suggestions slash feelings regarding the implementation of this bill into law?
Mr. Whiteclaw.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yes, I spoke with the inspector. We went over this as well as a few other things, but the primary form of conversation was indeed this. The original suggestion it was given was that I create a TLDR section, as this bill was much longer in its originality, which is why I went through and shortened a lot and messed around with a lot of things to make it more comprehensible for the general view and eye. But regarding the actual engagement of procedure and the like of that, there were no further suggestions. They said it was quite fun.
Thank you. Anything further before we move on to a vote? Mr. Whiteclaw.
Thank you, Mrs. Speaker. Regarding this bill and making sure I get all of this out there and everything I believe within this bill out there, this bill is something that I I will fight for, even if it doesn't pass here, I will do my best to have it rewritten and brought to the next parliament, because frankly, I believe in what's written here. I think that what's written here is something that is well needed, something that can be built on, but something that, as I mentioned in the bill directly, having a system that works a little bit and can be worked on in the future is a lot better than having no protections. I'm still of the belief of that.
Thank you. If there's nothing further, then we'll have the clerk move to a vote.
I will call the names of the honorable members, and please state whether aye, nay, or whether you abstain. The honorable member from Stone Bay Goldenrod.
Aye.
The honorable member from Stone Bay Bridgeway.
Aye.
The honorable member from Stone Bay Norbrook.
Aye.
The Right Honorable Prime Minister.
Aye.
The honorable member from Orlon Southwest.
Aye.
The honorable member from Falana East.
Aye.
The honorable member from Seralia West.
Aye.
The vote is as follows: 7 aye, 0 nay, and 0 abstains. The bill will be passed to the House of Lords.
Thank you very much. I now call upon the Deputy Speaker, His Holiness the Chaplain Silas Deep Creek, to take over for the next bill.
Oh, thank you, Deputy Speaker, Your Royal Highness.
Oh
Prince
yes,
Philibert.
of course, Deputy Speaker, His Holiness the Chaplain of the.
Oh, no. Thank you, Deputy Speaker, Your Royal Highness blew my bad.
Oh, thank you.
All right, we can't do this anymore. All right. Oh, goodness. All right. With the National Parks Act, oh, there you are. Go right ahead.
I do want to say the purpose of this bill is to establish an association to build national parks with regulations inside to promote the biodiversity within these parks as well as the wilderness. It's also an ability for people to go and visit as well as learn and connect with the environment that the national parks is actually protecting. And within these parks, there are going to be rangers and a wilderness guardian to look over this area, make sure everything is in order, and make sure no one is out of place when trying to visit. And as there will be rules and other penalties and fines that could be in place in case any of these things are breached in any way. Anyway.
Very well. I open to the House with questions regarding HB 171, the National Parks Association and record. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So I'm reading Chapter 5, and it's talking about the establishment of the preserved land. Are there any sort of guidelines to such? Is there a maximum? Is there a certain number of things that should be included? Certain environments, certain creatures, anything of that sort?
The presenter for a response.
I actually really like this question, as there are definitely different ecosystems that can be thoroughly protected with national parks, and it doesn't need to be one set category of what these ecosystems could be. It could be any sort of environment, and it doesn't technically have a maximum or a minimum. It's just based on how much land we are wanting to protect, as if this land has enough biodiversity to be seen as protected, as well as maybe endangered species that could maybe flourish from this, that would be looked out for and put into these guidelines. Further than that, I hope I answered your question.
Very well. Please stand to be recognized. Mark, I believe you got it just a bit faster.
Slay. My bad. Sorry. I really want to believe in the, for lack of a better phrase, competentness of everyone that's going to be involved with this. What if someone really, really just wants to take like as much land as possible, or just like a funny little bit of whatever? You know, how are there any securities in place to know that uh, something quote unquote worthwhile is going to be protected, or something that respects the future and the need for future housing and stuff? Although, let it be known to everyone, I respect nature far more than I respect people moving in. All right, that's all I have.
Point of clarification from the chair. Mork, you represent a very large population of Kara. You don't care about them as much as you care about the trees. Mork for a response.
Did you say that again? I didn't hear it. Might be.
Oh. I'm standing, you're sitting.
Oh.
All right. You stated in your statement that you care more about nature than people. You represent a very large population in Kara. Please just build on that.
Oh, well, it's easy. The land was here before we were, so technically it's like, I don't know, it's weird to explain it. Let me put it this way. Um, Environment chill. Sometimes people can be mean.
You know, I can't
Not to
argue
say I
with
don't
that.
respect people, but that's really it. I don't know how to explain it.
No, I understand. I was really trying to catch up and did well. The
I mean,
presenter
Grim would,
for a
right?
response.
You know, you love the tree.
The presenter for a response.
No, I actually do like that question. This is an association, not like there is no one in power here to actually take the land per se. It is all under the crown, and if permission is given, as there is going to be an investigation by these people and people that are going to be involved with this to investigate not on just how much land is going to be taken, but what's within these lands. Like I said, there is no minimum or maximum. The minimum could just be just if it's a small population that needs to be protected, or if there's like a certain fern that needs to be looked after. These are supposed to be reserves for things to be helped and protected along the way. This isn't to just take land from the people at all. But I do see your point, and this is not just an association that's going to make this decision on a whim. It will definitely go through thorough investigation as well as permission from the crown.
All right. Oh, yes, please write. The Right Honorable Prime Minister!
Yay!
You're here.
You're here.
No, Mr. Prime
Well,
Minister.
let's do that
sit back-
again.
Sit back down and stay back up. The Right Honorable Prime Minister!
Love that guy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So I know that there used to be a similar bill that was passed through the House of Commons and House of Lords that introduced a similar thing into the Stone Bay law. But once the Code of Law was rewritten, that bill was kind of taken away by the process of elimination, seeing as it does not fit into Stone Bay's modern society anymore. With the introduction to the Crown Land system, how have you had discussions with the Crown Land commissioners or His Majesty regarding how this will affect the Crown Land system, and or whether or not His Majesty wants to establish these national parks in the first place?
The presenter for a response, with the understanding that you may ask clarifying questions, as there were several questions in that question.
Now, I did actually hear about this beforehand about the similarities between Crown Land and what I was wanting to do with my bill. And I do want to clarify the difference between the two of them. I do believe that the Crown Land divides the land, gives out permits, licenses, but as well as protects the ecosystem within the lands that they are dividing and giving out, which I completely respect. But I do not believe that what I am trying to do will affect that, as the only purpose that they have, the rangers do, and the power that they have are within these parks. Anything outside, they have no control over the land. It's all under like whether if the king allows this land to be taken, and he can definitely like communicate this with the crown land in any way. But this is not to take anyone's responsibilities away from them. It's just to maybe put those in who are wanting to go into conservation jobs, give them abilities to go into something they're really interested in, as well as helping the environment within these small lands that are given.
Actually, a question from the chair. Presenter, you just stated that it was going to be small lands, but previously you stated it was going to be either small or large. Could you clarify?
Yes, I do want to say that I may have missaid that. Again, there is no minimum or maximum. You are correct. I did not mean to mean small. I just mean the land that will be given in according to what these parks are, each of them are protecting in that way.
Alrighty. Please stand to be recognized. Mr. Whiteclaw.
To continue off of what the Right Honorable Prime Minister was saying, as I don't believe that question was actually answered, putting together these parks is to in turn claim some land, and as the land commissioner's job is to oversee all land that is relatively claimed, whether it be protected or not be protected in this perpetuity. Have you spoken to the land commissioners about their opinions on this act?
Presenter for a reply.
Now, I do want to actually say this to clarify my intentions. I did not think about the correlation between the Land Commission and my bill until I had already processed my bill into this parliament. But after this, I was planning on actually having a conversation with them to maybe get better understanding of what they could go into this. But that was definitely in the works, and I do apologize for not having a meeting because it just did not cross my mind beforehand.
Oh, very well. Please stand to be recognized. The Right Honorable Prime Minister.
There.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So with the introduction to the Wilderness Guardian as well as these park rangers, how many do you anticipate will be needed in order to completely ensure that these lands are being protected? We'll start with that.
Actually, the chair is going to rise. When in Parliament, everyone, you ask questions to the chair. You is not to be used on the floor. The question is to be answered as, how does the right honorable or honorable member intend to deal with X, Y, or Z? The question is always posed to the chair. Please rephrase, Mr. Prime Minister.
My apologies, Mr. Speaker. So how does the honorable member how many members within the Wilderness Guardians or the Park Rangers does the honorable member expect to be needed to fully ensure that these lands are being protected as stated in the bill?
Oh yes, the presenter for a reply.
I would actually like to say, just due to there is no like set limit of how much land is going to be protected within these parks, it could be like small or large. I feel like depending on the length or how much is being protected, I feel like that it would just determine on that.
Very well. Please rise. The collector.
Will these national parks be made clear where they are exactly? Will there be fencing around them? Because I do hunt for my meals, and I wouldn't want to eat something I'm not meant to.
For a reply.
I believe there will be like some type of barrier that will let others know that this is a protected property, as well as there will be entrances with rules that saying this is protected and these are what you cannot do within these lands. But yes, I do not think it's just something that people can just roam upon and then not know.
Please stand to be recognized. Mr. Whiteclaw.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have several problems with this act. I'll start with a few. My most inherent problem with this is the idea behind the Wilderness Guardian being an individual that, as stated within the bill, states that they give out the proper oaths to the people that they've chosen, instead of it being an oath going through various other fields. Can I ask you what was the thought process behind? Can I ask the honourable member?
There we are.
I apologize. Can I ask the honourable member what the thought process was behind making that the Wilderness Guardian can be the one that gives out the oaths instead of other fields?
For a response.
I will actually gladly go into my thought process about this. I believe the people who are wanting to be rangers should be people that want to actually go into something along conservation and actually care about nature. And I believe that the Wilderness Guardian will be someone who will be able to point that out and be able to determine if these people are worthy of the position. And there are like oaths and then also an interview with the Wilderness Guardian themselves that will maybe give them a feel of what this person's true intentions are. And I believe it's just better within the own association to determine that.
Mr. Whiteclaw.
Yes. Well then, well, to continue from that, then, you have it stated here that the individual, the honourable member. Apologies, Mr. Speaker. I did not mean to not address the chair. The honourable member has it put within this act in the addression, that this individual is the individual who determines, the oaths for these people and determines the people who are proper. However, does the honourable member truly believe it of the utmost respect towards the systems that we already have in play that a person can set in oaths on people when these people in their respective areas are the ones that are relatively determining the law in that area? The honourable member has sections here that talk about how there is options, but not limited to the laws that can exist and the fines that can be placed. So I guess what I'm getting with this is I feel like this act in its existence is bypassing the systems we already have with the constabulary and royal guard that will be coming into play. So I ask the honourable member this just completely straight up. Is it right that we allow someone to give oaths to someone and swear them to something when they are the ones that will be determining fines on the innocent people here in Kara? Thank you.
The presenter for a reply.
I do want to say that these are not constabulary nor people of the law. These are people who are vowed to protect the land. And yes, they may be able to get fines and penalties, but outside of these parks, they have no other power. This will not be detrimenting anything outside of these parks. The only way they can get fines and penalties is if they do something within the park that is being protected by this organization.
Very well, please write. All right, you two. You've risen a lot. Does anyone over here on this side of the bench have an opinion? Okay, the collector.
Would the rangers that go to these parks have to live nearby, or would they be required to make daily trips to make sure the park is in good condition?
The presenter for a reply.
I feel like it really determines on the person that is hired. They could possibly live near the park that they are protecting, but they could also maybe not live near it and just make the trip to it whenever they are called for their duty.
Okay, you two can stand up again. Okay, the Prime Minister beat you to it. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Here, here.
So in Chapter 6, Section 1, and fines and penalties, I understand that park rangers are able to issue fines and penalties, but nowhere in the bill does it state where those fines and penalties are going to. If they're going to the constabulary, does that mean that the honourable member intends for them to be a branch of the constabulary, or do these fines and penalties go towards their own budgets?
The presenter for a response.
Now, I do have it written down that they will have contact and communication with the constabulary if there's ever a crime or something done that is out of their power between what is finable and what is penalized. So out of that would be communicate with the constabulary, and then they would take over for that. But I do want to answer your question. And I mean, sorry.
No worries.
The right honorable
There we
Prime
go.
Minister, I would like to answer the question with hold on. With sorry, can you restate the question? That's my bad.
Yes, the Prime Minister, to repeat the question.
So the honorable member does not have anywhere within the bill where the fines are going once they've been issued. So currently within the constabulary, if a fine is issued, it goes to the constabulary's account. For the park rangers, as written, it sounds as if they are not a part of the constabulary, but their fines are going towards the funding of the constabulary. Are the fines that are issued by park rangers going to their own budgets or the constabularies?
Very well. I will say, presenter, the chair hears that question very plainly as where do the fines go? I know there's a lot of things to cut through with that. I want to make it simple for you because I need it simple for myself. Thank you. For a reply, the presenter.
Okay. I do apologize for the blank statement
No
earlier.
need. No need to. I want to tell you, you've done an incredibly well done job. Continue.
I do appreciate that. I actually do have an answer for that. It would probably, it is not written down, you are correct, but I can probably assume and probably guarantee that it would probably go into the funding for the park in case there is ever a situation where they would need money to maybe save the park from destruction, or maybe there's like a hazardous bioproduct that could be harming it. That money would probably go to that, probably put into a savings for the help and protection of the park.
I will allow time for one final question and reply from the presenter. Miss Bloodwell.
Forgive me, muscle spasm.
Very well. Mr. Whiteclaw.
Yes, well, thank you, Mr. Speaker, first off. Going back to what I was saying earlier and referring to the right honorable member's answer, these people aren't members of the constabulary. Why should we be allowing these people to enact laws even in such a small area? Because within the bill, specifically around Chapter 6, yes, Chapter 6, Section A, Part 2, findable offenses include but are not limited to. If there are no limits to what is there, why are we giving them the power and having them sworn to essentially a separate entity? Why are we giving them the power to determine the actions that happen within this area? Thank you.
I'm going to stare at you for a moment, Mr. Whiteclaw. I
That is
hope it
fine.
feels slightly as disappointment, but also as raw entertainment. Yes, the presenter for a response.
Now, I do think this is a pretty good question, as there are like limitations of what could be finable. And by the means of what that is trying to be worded as, and I do apologize if it was worded in a weird way, it's to be like how big the fine would be depending on the action that is caused. And there could be substitutes for the penalties that are the ones that are listed. But if there is anything inside the park that is weighing of arrest or anything around that area or going to prison, that would not be under the park ranger's abilities. That would be under the constabulary, which they are going to be communicating with if there is ever a situation like that.
Very well. I will call this bill to vote. Clerk, please call the roll.
I will call the names of the honorable members and please say aye, nay, or whether you abstain. The honorable member from Stone Bay Goldenrod.
Abstain.
The honorable member from Stone Bay Bridge.
Nay.
The honorable member from Stone Bay Norbrook.
Nay.
The Right Honorable Prime Minister.
Nay.
The honorable member from Orlon Southwest.
Yay.
The honorable member from Falana East.
Yay.
The honorable member from Soralia West.
Nay.
The vote is as follows: 2 aye, 4 nay, and 1 abstain. The vote is defeated.
The chair will ask for an explanation for the abstention. Can't quite hear you, Mork. Nope.
My bad.
No, you're fine. You're Mork.
The lack of parliament for 2 weeks seems to have sapped away my quote unquote skill. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna say my thing now. I really liked the bill. I really liked the way honorable member presented it, and tone used to describe it almost swayed me completely, but I feel like there are just a few things that need to be explained or expanded upon. Otherwise, I'm all for it, personally.
Very well. And I will pass it back over to the Deputy Speaker, Her Royal Highness Princess Blue Mountbatten.
Oh, of course. Thank you, Deputy Speaker. So thankful for the Deputy Speaker, His Holiness the Chaplain Tyler Creek.
And of course, I am very thankful for you, Deputy Speaker, Your Royal Highness Princess Blue Mountbatten.
And I love you, random citizen.
I
All right,
love
everyone,
you, random citizen.
let's move on to HB 172, presented by Mork. Mork, if you will, a little spiel about your bill.
I would love to, thank you. Well, there's not much to say. It's a simple bill, and I think that makes it the least offensive sort of thing to end up passing, which I'm sure it will do. This is a bill to give guidelines on how to prepare yummy food, and guidelines on how to appreciate said food in a safe manner. That's really it.
All right, the Prime Minister.
Here,
Here.
So I would like to address, it is Chapter 5, Section 5, subsection 9, and where'd it go? Subsection 4 and subsection 9. The feeding of the scraps under the table to a dog and feeding it to birds for unsavory or undelicious meals. Is this not, what's the word? This is not discriminatory towards our friends who share in canine and bird biology. Do we believe that it is, does the honorable member believe that it is appropriate to give what we believe is unsavory and undelicious to those of that biology?
Point of privilege.
The chaplain.
Is this another reason that our dear friend and beloved dog, Alex Snowpaw, gets protected by the law? Right, Honorable Prime Minister?
I will say that this concern did not come from Alex Snowpaw.
Fucking hell. Actual fucking hell. Okay.
It did
Very
not.
suspicious. Do not think that you can feed a dog at the edge of the table and I cannot see its tail wagging. All right. Further questions?
Point
Miss
of
Lutine.
privilege.
Mr. Whiteclaw.
The original question given by the Right Honourable Prime Minister was never answered.
And it shan't be. Miss Lutine.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My question regarding this bill is purely, what was the thought process of this bill? How did we get to all these rules, all these listings within this bill?
For a response, Mork?
Oh, that's an easy one. Well, you see, sorry, the, no, I'm just gonna keep going.
I'm watching.
I feel like this is no different than the ordinary. So the honorable minister could see, all right, I'm gonna go with that. Could see that the first part of this, which would be, first part, chapter 4, would be something that I care personally about, because I believe in food safety. As an owner of a meat pit, it's very important. And the second half was more thinking, well, actually not really thinking. As you can, as an honorable minister could see, chapter 2, the last section describes the dubious creature, which was a co-author for this bill. That latter half was mainly influenced, Ratatouille style, by the dubious creature, who is not present here today and cannot respond. Anyway, to answer the Right Honorable Prime Minister's question, as someone with very, you could say non-human biology, well, not quite right now. I do enjoy when people pass food to me, perhaps under a table or something, because that's a little snacky for me, yummy yummy. So I could only assume that a literal dog or bird might also want that. I've seen dogs just kind of food you give to them, so forgive me if my assumption was harmful to everyone's favorite Alex Snowpaw.
Goodness. His Holiness?
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. And I must say, your hair is looking rather nice today. I have one simple question for the honourable member.
Thank you.
One moment. What the fuck?
Thank you. Most elegant.
I will.
He's not done.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. There are a few other additional things I'd like to say. What the flying fuck? What the swimming fuck? What the crawling through the glass fuck? What the crawling through the grass fuck? What? And I understand that the honorable will understand what I'm saying, and I will not speak to another member like this. What the fuck? Thank you very much.
Mork for a response?
I'd like a little more clarification, but I think to answer the question, you see, I like to live fast and loose. I say what I say, and honestly, it was a lot of fun, and I think it's there we go.
Point of clarification.
Oh dear.
Of course.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I voted for the honorable member. What the fuck? As a member of the honorable member's constituency, I would like to have the first bill presented by the honorable member explained with more than "I go fast and loose." Because what the fuck?
Actually, point of privilege. Define fast and loose in the terms of food and safety regulation. They seem
Yeah,
a bit
fucking
oxymoronic to me. The whole point of this bill, if you will, Mark, sit down, is to regulate and establish rules regarding safety in such an arbitrary manner as including specific degrees of Kelvin, which have never been legally defined.
What the fuck does Callan have to do with this?
I don't understand why Callan Lassells is being used as a unit of temperature measurement, but my ground sausage does not in any capacity need to ever be 344.261 Callan Lassells. I find that to be despicable. I find that to be concerning. What is the difference, tangibly, between 344.261 Callans and 335.928 Callans? And furthermore, is Leaf Malahide not allowed to eat his fish raw anymore? Mark, are you willing to suppress the raw fish eaters of this great people?
I'm one of them.
Please tell me about your fast and loose regulation policies.
Point of privilege.
This is so many
Point of
questions.
fucking
Let Mark
privilege.
respond, damn it.
Point of fucking privilege.
God damn it.
Which god?
All of them.
Holy shit! I'm sitting down. All right.
I don't know what's happening.
Mark.
Uh-huh.
Mark.
Huh.
Yeah.
You're standing, you're speaking, or you're not speaking?
No, I am. I was waiting
No,
for
speak.
my turn, so to speak. All right,
Yes.
so I'm gonna start off with this. The K doesn't stand for Khaled, it stands for...
Say
What?
it.
My apologies. It stands for Kara degrees.
Oh my goodness.
Sit down.
That's the
What?
short answer.
Point of clarification.
I'm not. I'm not gonna say. Well, my point of privilege is this, and I'm gonna say it in fucking awkward.
All right.
And that translates
Oh my
to what the
goodness.
fuck? Anyway,
Right.
Point of
All right, thank you.
clarification.
Oh my goodness. Yes, Mr. Whiteclaw.
Yes, I would like to ask the right honourable member, going all the way back to before we did any of this.
they're not right honorable. They're just honorable. The
Yeah.
Prime Minister's right honorable.
I see.
The honourable member. I'm so sorry, right honourable Prime Minister. I would like to ask the honourable member, going back to the beginning of this, before any of this part came through, are you avian or canine biology? Why are you eating things at the end of the table?
Yes.
Yes and no. Yes and no. Difficult question to ask. Difficult question to
Doesn't
explain.
help.
Oh, man, sorry. I'm really sorry.
Oh my goodness. The right honorable Prime Minister, please.
Yes, I would like to address to the honorable member in Chapter 4, Section 3, making an enjoyable drink. There seems to be so many very specific rules when it comes to preparing food, such as the 347.039 Kara degrees. Yet in Section 3, for an enjoyable drink, I just need to wash my hands up to the elbow. I feel like that
Up
is
to
a
the
very big-
elbow.
Yes. In Chapter 4, Section 3, Subsection A, those preparing drinks should always have a clean workspace, clean tools and glasses, and clean hands up to the elbow. and they may be washed in soap, water, and or lava. I feel like that is very counterproductive to the
fucking quit.
purposes
I
of the
fucking
bill.
quit.
I'm worried about him, but he'll come back around. Oh, all right. Mork for a response.
I really hate to do this to you, Right Honourable Prime Minister, but could you repeat the question in a perhaps simpler fashion? I didn't quite catch it.
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Why the fuck do I gotta cook my food to that specific of a degree, yet I only have to fucking wash my hands up to my elbows in lava to make a drink?
Thank you. Mork for a response.
Are you... Sorry. Is the Right Honourable Prime Minister cooking the Right Honourable Prime Minister's drinks?
Oh no.
Oh my god.
Is that what's
Which
being
god?
suggested?
All of them.
Fuck you.
You can't take my line. I name you and I put you on notice, Mr. Whiteclaw. Goodness.
Fuck.
Prime Minister for a response on whether he cooks his own hands and or drinks. Thank you.
Based on the wording of this bill, it seems as I will have to cook my drinks.
All right. Any any further questions on the bill? Yes, Kari.
Does eating an entire cow whole count as girl dinner?
What the
A response
fuck?
from Mork, please.
Is eating an entire cow what? I mean, I'm in support of eating an
Is
entire
eating
cow.
an entire cow girl dinner? Yes or no?
Of course, of course. As you see in the... Sorry, as the honourable member could see in Chapter 2 definitions, girl dinner described as girl dinner, and girl dinner is described as it's dinner for girls. Girl being described as those who have a tendency to at times have dinner, specifically girl dinner. So as long as you fit that... Sorry, as long as the honourable member fits that, of course, it can be girl dinner. And I encourage you to do so.
I'm so sorry. Prime Minister.
Am I able to move this to a vote?
No. Miss Bloodwell.
I only have a but one question. It is quite simple.
Certainly.
Why?
Thank you. Most succinct, Miss Bloodwell. I do appreciate your elaborate and very clear contributions to this house. Remember, everyone, that this house sets a very serious precedent for all of Kara as a serious and respectable institution that establishes laws and further important yes. Thank you. We'll be moving to a vote.
Sorry, I had a prophetic dream.
Quite.
Privilege?
What?
Why?
All right. We're done. We're moving to a vote. Thank you. Clerk, if you will.
Apologies, my mute muscle wasn't working.
You're
No
doing
worries.
so well. You're carrying this parliament.
Quite.
Here.
When I call your title, please say aye, nay, or abstain from the bill. The honorable member from Stone Bay Goldenrod.
Aye. Amphibious creature will go after me if this doesn't pass.
The honorable member from Stone Bay Bridgeway.
I abstain.
The honorable member from Stone Bay Norbrook.
Nay.
The right honorable prime minister.
Nay.
The honorable member from Orlon Southwest.
Yay.
The honorable member from Falana East.
Nay.
You're doing great.
How much do they pay you?
Not enough.
From Sorority West.
Nay.
The vote is as follows: 2 ayes, 4 nay, and 1 abstain.
And an explanation for that abstention, please, Mr. Whiteclaw.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is, Madam Speaker, it is certainly one of the most written bills ever, but I, in good faith, cannot pass it. And
And you're too much of a bitch to fail it. Thank you, Mr. Whiteclaw. We'll move on to
understood.
Here, here.
next.
Here.
Oh, the bill dies on the house. We'll move on to the next bill, of course. May I call upon, and it is my pleasure to do so, Deputy Speaker, His Holiness the Chaplain, Sir Silas Deep Creek.
Oh, of course, it is my pleasure to be called upon by the Deputy Speaker, Royal Highness Princess Blue Patton.
Thank you.
All right, the Speaker.
Oh.
Oh, yes, the Chaplain.
Yes. What? All right. Shall we have a 10-minute break, if you will?
Yes,
a
we
little
will
bit
have a
of
10-minute
moving
break.
about.
And I'm going to put Safiri Domnall in charge.
All right, Safiri. If the Parliament sets on fire, you're legally liable.
Yes, and I will turn you
Absolutely.
into a fucking horse.
Okay.
Which,
Hey.
if eaten, is girl dinner.
It is girl dinner if you decide to make it so. Hey, Callan, how are you doing today, buddy? Just a nod.
He's so verbose. I love him.
It's a nice glass of blood.
I'm
Also
I'm so
boiled in.
sorry. I had thoughts for a second there. I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. I'm having a really good time.
I'm glad. I'm so glad.
People are throwing potatoes at you. I'm going to steal some of them. I'm quite hungry. I will be having
Oh
myself
yes, of course.
girl dinner.
Who's?
I don't know. It's certainly an individual.
Oh, it's Daemonis.
Oh, very well. That's actually perfectly acceptable.
Yes, perfectly acceptable.
I have one question for the Justice Keeper within the Chamber, Safiri Domnall. Would you like to be a horse?
I've thought about it, and yes, I would like to be a horse. Yeah. What? What?
Well,
You didn't hear that. I'm talking.
please-
I'm talking.
please-
Aren't you a?
Please know that you literally cannot speak when you are a horse. Don't try to. Thank you very much.
God.
Oh my god!
Oh my gosh.
It's just polymorph, everyone. Don't worry.
Peter, why is there a horse in the hospital?
Who's Peter?
Don't say his name. Don't say his name.
The horse is
Oh,
here.
holy shit! Don't! Oh my god! I know who Peter.
Peter?
Stop! What are y'all doing?
Who's
Stop.
Peter? Oh. Okay, can we not hit my kids? Just because they're a horse doesn't mean they're not my kids still.
Just gonna
Animals have
squeeze
rights
right by
too.
you. Just gonna squeeze right by you. Scooch right past you. There you go.
No summoning horses in the chamber, please. Goodness, have some etiquette.
All right,
Oh.
I'm sorry, Saphira. These people can't behave. I have to turn you unturn you into a horse.
Oh.
Oh.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Don't worry. I'll turn you into a horse later if you like. Apparently, maybe it's had a very good time as a pufferfish.
And I want to.
Oh, you're a goat.
Oh.
Can I be a goat?
I'm not wasting my last one of the day on that. I already turned a Domnall into something. You know I gotta keep the
You're a
rotation.
double goat.
I'd be a cat.
How much goat is too much goat?
You can never have
Well,
enough goat.
it really depends on how much vegetable oil you have.
Oh
Right, 1/3 cup
Oh,
vegetable oil.
Yes,
I'm
of
leaving.
course.
I'm going.
You
I'm
should
going home.
finally chop the onions and get your powders
course.
ready. Onion, garlic, sumac of the sort. Cook. I'd like to point out, everyone, Gary has been staring at me no matter where I am the entire time. Gary and I don't talk very much, but I quite like Gary. And I will officially state it is the opinion of the Church of the Deep, as the chosen head of Snarkwest, chaplain of the Deep, and Prince of Stone Bay, that if any of you fucking hurt Gary, please don't. That'd be really fucking rude.
Here,
Thank
here.
you very much.
Here.
We love Gary.
Is
Someone
10
pronounce
minutes
his
up
name
yet?
Snake.
Is what, Mr. Whiteclaw?
It's been mentally 10 minutes.
Okay, very well. Mentally it has. Everyone return to your seats. Gary, don't stare at me.
Oh shit.
Gary,
Oh.
Gary,
Next
Gary, Gary. Your mustache is beautiful, but I will bleach it. That's what I thought.
Thanks. I wouldn't know anything about that.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
No, certainly not.
We have always looked like this.
Of course.
All right. I forgot that I was the Speaker of the House, not just. Honestly, I thought we were in the church, everyone. All right. Continuing on. Maybe I'm dreaming. That's interesting.
It's a terrifying tree.
Very well. The honorable member from Stone Bay, not where I live, Mr. Whiteclaw. For what can only be said as the ominously labeled the omnibus.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is actually named Omnibus Hotel. I don't know why it was written in the agenda as the Omnibus.
Given that it is documented as the omnibus, it will be referenced the entirety of Parliament as the omnibus. Thank you very much.
Understood. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Yes, I do know relatively, I have been explained the opinions on that of an omnibus, but it is very simply just a coalition of a bunch of things all coming together and trying to put them into easy legal, jargon, and making sure everything is up to standard. And that is what I am trying to do here. Going through the Stonebay Code as I do every night. There were a few things that I and some other members saw that believed needed to be in the Stonebay Code. One of those being that blackmail isn't actually a crime right now. So we've gone through and made sure that it is a crime. There have been amendments that we are making, changing the language of various acts, such as the Demon Regulation Act, the One Name Policy Act, and the Treasury Provision. Just changing the lingo there so that it is relatively up to standards, taking away things from the Minister of Justice role that doesn't exist and moving them towards the constabulary or moving them towards the Minister of Home if needed, and the like. Thank you.
The chair will ask the first question. Mr. Whitelaw, are you aware of the historical precedent of omnibuses of the past? You may reply while I'm standing.
I was made aware of them and generally what they're normally used for, but in definition, an omnibus is just a bunch of things all put together.
Okay. The chair has a follow-up question. Are you aware that many prime ministers and parliamentarians of the past would stuff the most heinous shit into an omnibus possible to make themselves personally powerful, even sneaking in small definitions which allowed them to only know the law because they wrote it in a very specific way? And with that awareness, being it there or not there, why did you name it omnibus? I can't hear you.
I haven't been called on.
Then you won't be. Mork, was the presenter aware of this?
Probably not.
Oh, Mork, I thought we were friends. Very well, the presenter.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I was aware of it, and while I don't agree with it, as I said before, that by definition, an omnibus is just a coalition of things that are affected in many different scenarios and bringing them all together. And I hope that a simpler omnibus like this one, meant to just change certain edits and bring things up to standard, sets a better precedent than the omnibuses before it.
All right, stand to be recognized. Mork. I know, buddy. Just say something.
Huh?
All right, never mind. The Right Honorable Prime Minister.
It's not necessarily a question for the honorable member. I would like to just state that I've read through the omnibus quite thoroughly, and it seems as though the changes being made to the Stone Bay Code of Law are that of redefining different responsibilities held by those of different titles, such as the Minister of Justice, which does not exist anymore, and giving some of those responsibilities to the Chief Inspector or to the Minister of Home when appropriate. But it seems as though all of this does not have anything to do with the changing of the law to where only Mr. White, the honorable member, understands it.
Very well. Rise with response. Rise with opinion. The Prime Minister.
I'd like to ask the honorable member why they believe it appropriate for Stonebay to have a blackmail law, as this has not been a problem in the past, or do you believe it, or does the honorable member believe it to have been a problem in the past to the point where it necessitates the introduction of a new law and the offenses against a person within the code?
Holy shit, the chair will rise. Mr. Whiteclaw, just talk about sneaking shit into omnibuses. You may reply.
Yes. We were talking about seeking things in omnibuses.
What is this about blackmail? You may reply.
Yes. So blackmail, I mean, I very openly talked about it in the beginning, is not currently a crime within the law, and I think it should be. There was a case some time ago where an individual came to the prime minister and was answering a question regarding it. And we realized, as me and a few others were going through the Stone Big Code, that the only way to actually do anything with blackmail is if we went through it with a civil offense. And I don't believe something like blackmail to be a civil offense. But there was an individual that came to the prime minister, and subsequently I was brought into that conversation as well, where we went over it and realized that there was nothing we could actually technically do about blackmail.
I will stare at you for the remainder of my time as Deputy Speaker. Please rise. It makes it very difficult to look at Mork, but I still look at Mork. Mork.
Thank you. Could the honorable member explain why Chapter 4, Section 2, it was changed from direct and indirect to just direct?
Go ahead.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would love to answer the question that the honorable member asked me there. Frankly, it was changed from that due to realizing that there are certain individuals that have never interacted with the individual in question on the initial bill, yet because they have never interacted with but still hold something that is in relation, is technically illegal. The first example that came to mind was the Chamberlain and the hat that they wear. While having not interacted with them to get said object, they would still be held legally liable.
Oh, okay. So yeah. So everything I said that might be happening in this bill is happening. Understood. Excellent. Great. Oh, go ahead.
I don't believe that I am putting anything forward that is unbelievably unjust, and only for me to understand. I'm putting it very clearly on this bill.
I stare at you.
Yes, sir.
Please rise. Mork.
So, does the honorable member believe that changing this wouldn't be a danger in any way regarding any other sort of demon may or may not be around, do anything indirectly to someone?
For a reply?
Yes, I would like to ask the honourable member for a clarification on anything that could be described as an indirect notion related into the original bill.
For clarification, Mork.
I'm choosing to define indirect something like not directly speaking to person in front of them, which would include something like letter, using a person as a messenger, perhaps a sign through the wind, or whatever manner of indirect communication that would be chosen.
Go ahead.
Yes, a letter would be defined as direct communication, so as would be anything making yourself evident to that individual to, in turn, talk to them to get information across is direct. Indirect, in the term and definition, would be never having making a deal with the individual in the process, but simply maybe owning an item that is in relation. Not using it to speak to. There are no other crimes listed within the entire Stonebig Code where we arrest someone for something that they didn't intend to do or didn't actually do. This is just fixing that momentary blight.
Point of clarification.
Certainly, the Prime Minister.
Within the Stone Bay Code of Law, this is located in Chapter 7. This is in regards to the demon as the gambler. This is not necessarily dealing with all demons and their pacts. That would be something completely different. This is fixing the wording within something that happened in the past and adjusting the wording of that article.
Please rise. Very well. Clerk, please call the roll.
I will now call the roll. Please say aye, nay, or abstain when I call your title. The honorable member from Stone Bay Goldenrod.
Nay.
The honorable member from Stone Bay Bridge.
Aye.
The honorable member from Stone Bay Norbrook.
Nay.
The Right Honorable Prime Minister.
Aye.
The honorable member from Orleans Southwest.
Nay.
The honorable member from Fawana East.
Nay.
The honorable member from Soralia West.
Nay.
The vote is as follows: 2 nay, 3 nay, and 0 abstain. The bill does not pass.
Very well. I call upon the Deputy Speaker, Her Royal Highness, the Princess Royal, Blue My Baton, for
Thank
the
you.
budget.
Huzzah. I love the budget. Yep. You know me. Most budget-friendly person in this room, perhaps. Thank you. The Prime Minister, please, to present the budget.
Yeah, so this budget is an amendment to the current budget that we currently have. In our current budget, we have not accounted for the new government systems brought to play, such as the Employment Office, within the budget. Therefore, we are currently using discretionary funds in order to fund the Employment Office. Through this budget, we are fixing some of the payments that are going out to different offices, such as the registry office. That number has been decreased from 192 silver pieces per week down to 128 due to the fact that their payment structure is different than we initially anticipated at the formation of the budget, as well as cutting down the budget for the officers of the House of Lords, as they were being paid on a weekly basis. Yet we have not had House of Lords every week. And moving those funds to the Employment Office. This budget does not affect the taxes paid by the municipalities within the Kingdom of Stone Bay, so none of those numbers change. It just redirects some funds. For some reference, of the 7,360 silver pieces allocated that we have had distributed, or that were allocated to be distributed within the current budget, only 6,530 silver pieces were actually distributed, meaning that 770 silver pieces have remained within the treasury. 578 of that silver was not spent due to the lack of attendance by parliamentarians at committee meetings and sittings of the House of Commons. And 12 officer payments were missed due to the House of Lords being missed since the instatement of this budget, as well as 2 seatings of the House of Commons being missed. The remaining 192 silver pieces remain in the treasury are due to the registry office not being opened the first week of this new budget's inception. The TLDR, moving funds, making sure that Employment Office is getting funded, and those who are receiving too much money that they are not using do not have those funds. Taxes do not change.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. Are there any questions regarding the budget? Mr. Whiteclaw, make it quick.
I'd just like to say we went through this quite heavily during the Ways and Means Committee. This just simply changes making sure that the people that don't get paid. I'm in support of this budget.
Thank you very much. Any further comments before we move to vote? Clerk, if you please, let's move.
I will now call titles. Please say aye, nay, or whether you abstain. The honorable member from Stone Bay Goldenrod.
Aye.
The honorable member from Stone Bay Bridgeway.
Aye.
The honorable member from Stone Bay Norbrook.
Aye.
The Right Honorable Prime Minister.
Aye.
The honorable member from Orlon Southwest.
Aye.
The honorable member from Falana East.
Aye.
The honorable member from Sobralia West.
Aye.
The vote is as follows: 7 aye, 0 nay, and 0 abstain.
Thank you very much. Looks like it has passed. That is excellent. Money is quite important, despite it being so incredibly boring. It is my personal privilege and absolute delight to pass on the chair to the most esteemed and most judacious Deputy Speaker, His Holiness the Chaplain Silas D. Preem.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker, Her Royal Highness, the Princess Blue Mountbatten. It is an honor to have known you over these past 12, 13 years. May we be blonde forever. May the sea
As
continue
we
to
always
bleach
have
us
been.
as it blesses us.
Yeah.
Very well. It has come to my attention that the Prime Minister has nominated an individual to join the rank of judge. Is this true, Mr. Prime Minister?
It is.
Very well. This House will hereby move from the business as labeled to debate regarding the judicial nomination of one Wilhelm Yulin. Mr. Yulin, to questions specifically addressed to you, I ask that you come to my side to answer them.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Please rise. And it seems Mork was fast off the gun. Mork.
Oh.
Oh,
That's what you meant.
Yeah, you stand. Yeah, you're good, buddy. Go ahead. Ask a question.
That's not what I intended. I thought you said please rise to respect
Oh
the
no.
presence.
No,
That's
I
why...
like Mr. Yulin, but no, please rise to be recognized.
All right.
Okay, well, please rise to be recognized. The Prime Minister!
Here.
Yes, I would like to ask how much experience that our nominee has with the law within Kara.
Very well, the nominee for a reply.
Myself and my predecessor, we have about 12 years. I've been involved since the beginning of our judicial system, and I believe my knowledge will be useful as a judge.
Very well. Please rise to be recognized. Okay. Oh, thank you, Mork.
Could you... Am I allowed to say you here?
Sure.
Could you elaborate on your experience? Specifically, what kind of things you possess that you think would be beneficial?
Yes, well, I am very intimately aware of the Stone Bay Code. I helped organize and write it. I was the Home Minister for about 6 months. I led prosecutions on more cases than I can count. Yeah.
Please stand to be recognized. Very well, the chair will stand. Mr. Yulin, are you comfortable with a very uncomfortable idea of prosecuting someone who contains great, either soft or hard power here in Kara?
I would feel fairly confident in doing so. I don't believe your title or the amount of power you have shall determine what kind of punishment you should receive from the justice system if you are guilty, of course.
Excellent. Please stand to be recognized. Very well. The chair will rise again. Regarding your decision to create a plea deal for one who committed murder, can you speak to the House regarding your emotions and feelings regarding that? Your emotion, not the law.
Yes. I will admit, there were many factors that led to my decision to make the plea deal. Do I view it as the right choice now? I don't believe so. But at the time, due to external factors such as the captain and the other phase, that pushed me towards trying to get a lighter sentence on Niles' grandson, because if we were to execute him, that would have led to the Fae possibly attacking us. And I didn't personally want to exile him, not because we were acquaintances or friends, but because I didn't want to give the Fae what they wanted. So.
Very well.
But I do believe the choice now was a mistake and is a mark on my record.
Please stand to be recognized. Oh, Royal Highness, the Chamber Chaplain, Princess Blue Batten.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. If you could please describe to the chamber why it is incredibly important to follow proper procedure, evidencing, and to ensure proper public communication regarding your role and the importance of transparency and respect.
Well, it all falls down to public trust and accountability. If the public can't trust me, if I am not transparent and willing to talk about what I'm doing with people, then I the public would just wouldn't trust me because our justice system does rely on public trust. The people need to know that they are going to be treated well and fairly in our system. I know from experience, from sitting on the prosecution side, that people will often seem or feel targeted or persecuted, but I don't wish for that to happen.
Very well. Please stand to be recognized. Mork.
Can I ask how you intend to gain this trust? What are you going to do?
The chair grants permission to ask.
All right, I ask. I'm asking. What's your plan? What do you think you're going to be able to get done in the time frame that you are allotted?
Well, as it stands right now, the constabulary has a backlog of cases waiting to be tried. So right off the bat, I would start working on that. However, I would always be open with anyone who needs to talk to me. One thing I do want to try to do is I do want to try to get some sort of agreement to get lawyers or defense attorneys readily available for people. That's one thing I do want to focus on if I do become, or if I do get this nomination.
Very well. Please stand to be recognized. Yes, Joy.
Question is, do you yourself currently feel ready and absolutely confident that you were able to take on this job?
Oh, absolutely. Like I said previously, I have extensive knowledge in our legal system. Many parts of it I helped design myself. So I feel greatly confident in my ability in order to impartially and fairly try people.
Very well. Please stand to be recognized. Mr. Prime Minister.
I would like to make the comment that currently within Kara, there is nobody who understands the law and the judiciary system more than Mr. Yulin here, the nominee. Sawyer Kingston is one of our judge magistrates, and Wilhelm Yulin being my second nomination is due to the fact that in the history of Kara, there have been many people who understand law. But currently, of those interested in this position, and even those not interested in this position, I don't believe that anybody has as much experience with the judiciary system as well as the law than Bill Yulin. So ensuring that I was nominating somebody who was experienced, who has been through countless prosecutions, who is literally assisted in the writing of the code of law, would be the most appropriate person to take up this seat.
Very well. Please stand to be recognized. Mr. Whiteclaw.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. When it comes to time served within our justice system, time with their hands on it, time with the experience to be able to look at it and see how it works and how it acts, there is not anyone else that you could find in the land of Kara with as much experience as the nominee that we have here today. Frankly, the amount of experience that this individual has is at its utmost compared to many of the other people that have wanted a job like this. And I'd like to hope that that time could serve well in his tenure.
All right, it seems we've entered the ass-kissing portion. Any other actual questions to the nominee before we call a vote? Very well. Will the clerk please call the roll?
When I call your title, please say aye, nay, or abstain. Honorable member from Stone Bay.
Oh, one moment, clerk. I apologize. I so do apologize. If you are struggling to stay awake during Parliament, you are not bound here. Simply leave. Please continue, clerk.
Of course. Honorable member from Stone Bay, Goldenrod.
Oh, my bad. Aye.
Honorable member from Stone Bay, Bridgeway.
I abstain.
Honorable member from Stone Bay, Norbrook.
Aye.
The Right Honorable Prime Minister.
Aye.
Honorable member from Orlon Southwest.
Aye.
Honorable member from Philana East.
Aye.
Honorable member of Soralia West.
Aye.
The vote is as follows: 6 aye, 0 nay, and 1 abstain.
The chair will ask for an explanation regarding the expedition.
Yes, I worked under this man while he was the Home Minister, and he is the one who gave me the ability to be a prosecutor for Stone Bay. I don't feel it just that I, as someone who has worked so close with him, is someone that can determine whether he deserves a position.
Well said. Very well. The House has voted to pass through, and thus the nomination shall continue. I now call upon my dear friend of more than a decade, one who saw me as simply a farmer, one herself who was a leader of a nation, long dead but reborn as something new. Oh, you're dismissed, Mr. Yule.
Okay, I was confused. I was scared.
The Deputy Speaker, she who is the... Here you go, Blue.
Oh goodness, that one really threw me back. I know that Lord Elms is in the audience, like, oh my goodness.
That mountain was so hollow.
It was. People think that the mountain was there. We actually built the mountain to then hollow it out, which is really,
It's very Stendhal.
which is really the most ridiculous part. We mountains before Stendhal did, and I'll stand on that.
No, don't.
Sorry.
Don't.
I won't stand on that. I'll sit down. All right. I understand this has been quite an arduous and long parliament after debating the, well, really the lava hands is really what got me, I'll be honest, everyone. The lava hands and the degrees of Callan really threw me through a loop there. I don't believe we have any, well, we just did our new business. Why don't we have the Prime Minister with general updates? The Prime Minister!
Here, here.
Here, here.
Okay, that was, we're gonna run that back, Prime Minister, please, if you will, sit down. Ladies and gentlemen, the Prime Minister!
Yeah.
Yippee! So for general updates, with this final Judge Magistrate nomination, assuming that it goes through House of Lords, then His Majesty's mandate for the 7th Parliament of Orlon will have been completed. There are 2 more sessions of the House of Commons within the sitting of the 7th Parliament of Orlon. Following that second seating on April 20th, it will then be the 8th Parliament of Orlon's turn. in order to take over the government of the Kingdom of Stone Bay. There's still work being done. We will have quite a packed session of Parliament next week as well. And then, though I may be done with presenting bills, I can assure you that my work is not done. I am still working to create more opportunity for Kara. Currently, my focus has shifted from employment to education, so those processes are in development, though too early to share anything publicly. But I do want you all to know that this Parliament has worked very hard, and they are going to work hard until the very end. It has been wonderful serving you all, and I look forward to serving the Kingdom of Stone Bay for 2 more weeks as the Prime Minister.
Yeah.
Thank you very
2
much.
more weeks. 2 more weeks. 2 more
More
weeks.
weeks.
2 more.
More
It's not
weeks.
catching on. It's not catching on. Understood.
No, it's all right.
That's right.
Well,
Good job.
I would like to say before we move on to our closing announcements, or perhaps this is my closing announcement, that I would congratulate the Prime Minister on so far a quite fantastic job. He had a very tumultuous start, and a very unfortunate start, and has wrapped it up quite well. I very much appreciated his drive and all of his effort in commitment in adding legislature and so on and so forth to the great collective nations of Kara. Let me see. Oh, it's the I had the budget open. No wonder I was so confused and bored. All right. Why don't we go to closing announcements? Of course. The deputy. Sorry, silence, please. The chaplain.
Yeah, that's fine. You can silence me. We've been
All
through so
right.
much shit. I would first like to say and congratulate all those who presented your first bills tonight. It is utterly impressive that you had the gall to stand here today and do that. It's hard. Blue and I both know it's hard. We've both presented things we thought we were going to lose, and we did lose. Well, Blue has. I've never lost anything. Not in Parliament.
I've lost a lot. That's the best part.
Yeah, I've never lost anything in Parliament. But you did something incredibly difficult, which was actually try. Getting elected is one thing. It's actually quite easy to be popular. Many people in this room are very, very, very popular. But actually doing something for the people you represent is much harder. And even harder is facing defeat. So as we move forward, the potentiality of new elections, I want you to think on one thing, all of you in this room, every single person. Do you want it? Or do you just want it? You see, within the Church of the Deep, we hold ambition to be holy. We are the creek which wears down the mountain. We are Sennaquis's ambition made manifest. We recognize that to make something of oneself, even a soft, comfortable life, you must have the ambition to make it. So as paperwork comes forward, as the world continues to turn, do you want it? Or do you just want it? This has been the first Parliament formed where there are actually new faces here. Pure and outright. The training wheels are off. Take what you want, so that you might provide for those who don't have the ability to do so. Oh goodness, Blue, I'm preaching again. I'm done.
Thank you, Chaplain. That was very astute. And I think it is a good lesson not only for those who are honoring us and are honoring their people by sitting here and speaking on their behalf and working to work with them and represent these people of Kara, but also to our audience. For every single person who's ever sat in these fancy prismarine seats and spoken in front was also at once an audience member. So don't think that you might never be where you want to be.
The chaplain was a farmer and I was a runaway. And here we are today. Any further announcements for the house, please? All right. I believe that comes to the end of this 11th Parliament. Thank you all for attending, and I look forward to seeing you all in the House of the Lords, where if you think the debate in House of Commons gets serious, just wait until they add a whole bunch of petty rich people. That's when it gets really good. Thank you, everyone. Good evening.
Yeah.
You're fucking here.
Bunch of petty
You're fucking
fucking rich
here.
people.